Okay, now we're on the chapter 6. Hopefully you're understanding at this point that I'm not going over everything in chapter 5 because some of it is actually, I think, fairly well understood in the book. But now we're in chapter 6 and we're talking about major scales. And what you have to know about scales, any scale, if it's major, if it's minor, if it's chromatic, whatever scale, any scale can start on any note. And then the differences in the intervals between those notes is what determines what kind of scale it is. So what do I mean by that? Well, a major scale sounds like this. When we go up the scale from low to high, it's called an ascending scale. When we go down from high to low, it's called the descending scale. So here's ascending, going up. And here's descending. And that was an ascending and descending C major scale. What makes it major is the interval between those notes, the spaces in between those notes. Specifically, if they are whole steps or half steps. So what do I mean by whole steps and half steps? Well, a half step means that you can go either this way or this way to the very next closest key possible. So if I am going C and I want to go one half step higher, I go to the very next key to the right. This one. See, here's a C. The very next key to the right is this one. I went one half step up. If I wanted to go a whole step, I have to skip one key to go a whole step. It doesn't matter if I'm going this way or this way. The rule is you have to skip one key. Sometimes it's a black key, sometimes you're skipping a white key, but it doesn't matter which color it is. As long as you skip one key, you are moving a half step in either direction. So here's my C. If I want to go one half step higher, which means going this way up the piano, I skip this key and I play this key. See, I skipped one key and I went to the very next one. I went from C to D. That is a whole step. If I want to go another whole step from D, again, I have to skip one key. This way, I will skip this key if I'm still going up the scale. So here's my D. I'm skipping this black key, and I'm going to play E. So I went from D to E, and I skipped a key to get there. That is another whole step. If I wanted to go a half step from D and I wanted to go higher by half a step, I would just go to this key. I was playing this key, D. I go up one half step. That means the very next key. There it is. The most possible closest key I could find. Okay? If you look here on the piano, we are here on E, and there is no black key to go to. That means that from E to F is already a half step because I am still not skipping any keys. There are no keys that I'm skipping to get from E to F. So that is already a half step. If I wanted to make that a whole step, I would actually wind up skipping this white key. So I go to E. If I wanted to make it a whole step up from E, I skip this one because remember, you skip a key and I play this one. So in this case, I skipped a white key. So hopefully what you're taking from this is that it doesn't matter if you're going from a white key to a black key or a black key to a white key. No matter what, you do not skip a key when you want to go a half step. I went a half step that direction. If you want to go a whole step up or down, you must skip one key. See that? I just made 2 whole steps. So what makes a major scale is the order of half steps and whole steps in your scale. So if you notice, the order is going to be a whole step, and then another whole step, then a half, then another whole, another whole, another whole, and then another half. So the order is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Let me walk you through it. Starting from here, here's my C major scale again, just ascending. Okay? To get from here to here, the order of half steps and whole steps is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So, in other words, looks like this. Whole step, half step. See that? Whole, 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 and then a half step. I'll do that one slower. Starting from here. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and then half step. Here are my 2 half steps. E to F in this scale, and B to C in this scale, in a C major scale. Okay? So, like I said earlier, a major scale, any scale, can start on any note as long as you kind of fit the pattern, which is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half for a major scale. So let's pretend like we're not starting on C. Let's say that we're going to start on D. Well, let's see. I have to go whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So here's my first whole step. D to E. That's my first whole one. I need another whole step. So I can't go to F. E to F sharp. Whole, whole. Okay. F sharp to G. There's a half step. G to A. Another whole step. A to B. Another whole step. B to C sharp. Another whole step. See, I skipped that one. And then now I have a half step. So C sharp to D. So I made a major scale starting on D using the pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. I'll show you that one more time. Starting on D, here's my first whole step. Whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and then half step. I'll play it for you a little faster. Still sounds major, right? Because it is a major scale. Let's do one more. Let's do one that starts on the letter F. So let's figure out where your F is. Here's C, D, E, F. Okay, we're going to do F major scale. Same pattern, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Here we go. Starting on F. Whole step, whole step, half step. Ooh, this is tricky. Whole step, you have to skip this one. Whole step, and then half step. F major scale, same idea. So as long as you find the pattern of wholes and halves and take your time with it, you technically can figure out every single possible major scale on the piano. Even ones that start with a black key. You can do a whole step from F sharp, whole, there's your whole, half. You can start a scale on any single note on the piano and make it major, just remembering that it's supposed to be whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Knowing that a whole step means that no matter what, you skip one key, and a half step means that no matter what, you do not skip one key. You go to the very next key, either up or down, whichever one's the closest, that is your next half step, up or down.